Okay, so we're doing this. Hi guys, I am gonna walk you through my makeup routine today because I've had a couple friends ask me what I do and how I do it, and I just thought, well, I guess I could make a video. I watch a lot of YouTube videos. I love makeup videos and like reviews, tutorials, first impressions, chit chat, get ready with me, like all that jazz. I'm here for it. So hopefully I'm not too reductive of all of my favorites, but I mean, there's only so many ways that you can like do makeup and talk about it. So I guess you'll just be here for me. And you know, why not? Because I'm great. Also, my hair is in fact a hot mess today, but we're just gonna go with it, okay? I'm gonna apologize ahead of time for any looking at my face instead of looking at you guys, but you know, what are you gonna do? Anyway, so the first thing I always do is my well, I wash my face, I put on primer, or I put on moisturizer, and then I go in with a primer. Your foundation and stuff is only going to look as good as your base, and there are a couple of things that I've done for my face that have really made a huge difference. One of which is to stop treating my face like it's oily just because it produces oil. I do have combo skin, but it does get very oily in the T-zone. And I used to do the most trying to control that oil, and then it just felt like my face just got oilier and didn't look good, and I didn't like it. So I stopped. And my skin got so much better. So that is kind of my little spiel on that situation. The primer I'm using today is my Hourglass one, which is expensive and bougie, but I like it. Most of my expensive bougie shit I wait and buy during the 20% off VIB Rouge sale, but you know, whatever. Next, I usually try to do my eyes first. I used to not, and then I just found that more and more I was putting on too much powder and shit under my eyes to try to like get rid of the fallout from it, and that was irritating my eyes. I have a really big issue with my eyes watering pretty severely because of the way that my eyelashes grow, or at least that's the conclusion I've come to. I actually went to an eye doctor to try to figure it out, and they were like, there's nothing wrong with your eyes. And in fact, they wouldn't even water when I was at the doctor's. Anyway, I'm putting on a eyelid primer. The one that I really like is my MAC Pro Longwear Paint Pot, and I use the color Soft Ochre. It's just a nice one. I used to set it once I put it on, but I've actually found that my eyeshadow performs better if I don't set it. I do let it dry a little bit because so it's not overly tacky, but it dries down to this like powdery matte finish, and it's really, really nice. Today, I am going to be doing my eyes with Colored Rain Queen of Hearts palette, which is a favorite right here, Queen of Hearts. It's just a really great palette. It performs really well. Just beautiful colors for fall. So I'm going to go in straight away with a fluffy crease brush. I need to clean my brushes, but for today I'm going to use a color switch just to kind of make sure I'm not using anything that I shouldn't. I have so many brushes, and they really... I should clean them. I mean, I do clean them pretty regularly, but because I have so many, it takes me forever. So what I'm doing is I'm taking my fluffy crease brush, and I'm going into Princess first, which is this kind of light mauve-y, whatever, you know, you get the idea. So I'm going into that first, and that's going to be my transition color. Tapping off the extra, and then I'm just going to go into the crease. So your crease is where your brow bone is, or not your brow bone, Jesus, your eye socket is. it's not necessarily where your eye creases naturally. My eye creases naturally a little bit below my actual eye socket bone because I have hooded eyes. And so I get a little bit of extra padding right here, and that hangs down. The thing to remember about doing your eye makeup is that everybody's eye shape is a little bit different, and the space they have to work with is a little bit different. And so oftentimes, like when my friends ask me to do their makeup for them, they're like, but you can't do anything too dramatic with the eyeshadow because, you know, I have like small eye space, or I have, you know, I just don't have any lid space, right? And the thing is that that's not true. What's true is that you can't do it the same as everyone else. No one can do their eye makeup the same. A lot of people will go straight out, but I tend to round my shadow a little bit because of the shape of my eye. I feel like it looks a little bit different. You'll see that I'm kind of using this like windshield wiper motion. If you've watched any makeup video ever in your life, someone has probably said, use windshield wiper motions, which is that back and forth motion with the brush. But I also kind of do a little bit of a swirl in there just to kind of work the shadow in. And I just kind of work it in until I'm satisfied with the way it's blended. And I don't really go back in for more shadow, than, especially with a good shadow. Now, sometimes you do have to layer up because maybe the shadow's not as high quality, or it's not milled as finely, so it's not like moving the way you need it to, or it moves too much and you lose all pigmentation. And that really just depends on the shadow. But you don't have to spend a ton of money on a shadow to get your eye look to work. Now, I collect makeup, and that's kind of my hobby. So I do have a lot of varying qualities and expense, but it really varies. But you want to be really light. You don't want to like dig in and use too much pressure, but you want to just fluff, you know, fluff it through. If I'm trying to do my eyeshadow and I'm late for work and I've got 15 minutes to get ready, maybe I'm not going to take this much time, okay? Maybe I won't do this dramatic of an eye look. Now, most of you know that I do show up to work with dramatic eye looks all the time because it's kind of my thing, and it's like my zen in the morning to get up and just sit there and do my makeup and think about what I want to do. And honestly, there's no wrong way to do makeup. If you feel like it looks good, if it makes you happy, then that's what you should be doing, you know? So I'm going to take this same brush and I'm going to go in once in each, kind of a little back and forth like that. Kick it off, and then I'm going to go in, and I'm actually not going to start right away with my back and forth. What I want to do is just kind of pat it in like so it's not fluffing everywhere, and I get the pigmentation where I want it. And then once I have that started, then I will go and start really working it in. See, and it's just kind of warming up that crease just a little bit and deepening it up to give that depth. Do you see the difference between these two eyes right now? And how much, like, just how much better this one looks than this one just with that little bitty step, right? And it's just, God, it's all about those tiny bitty details. All right, I'm going to switch brushes. I'm going to hang on to this one though, because I'm going to want it later. I want that big fluffy, like when I start blending things out. So I'm going to hold on to it and just kind of keep it on my desk. And I'm going to go in with a slightly smaller, kind of flat-ish but fluffy-ish brush. Is it gonna focus on it? Ooh, there you go. See, this one's also dirty. So we're just gonna clean that sucker off a little bit. I swear I will clean my brushes after this. I'm a little bit embarrassed. I didn't realize how bad they were getting. Although, to be fair, this is just my crease brushes. So it's a situation, okay? It's just a little bit of a situation. Don't judge me. I'm gonna go in with just that darker color, which is Ladyship. So before we were kind of bouncing back and forth between Ladyship and Empress, and now I'm just gonna go into Ladyship, and I wanna focus on that outer part of my lid space and the crease. Just to sort of deepen that up and add that dimension, you know what I'm saying? And it's okay if it's not perfect. And the reason for that is that because I'm not doing my makeup first, I'm gonna clean all of this up, like below, if I get the fallout and so forth, which is this like shadow underneath here. I'm gonna clean that up. And I really wanna deepen that up a little bit more. I'm gonna, well, first I wanna go and do the other eye. So I'm gonna do the other eye. Okay. And now I wanna blend there we go. And I still want a little bit more drama in that crease. I really want it to be bolder. So we're gonna try the brown that's in here, which is Duchess, right here. We're gonna try it. But I'm not 100% convinced it's going to be as dark as I want it to be. So we're gonna try it. And we're just gonna pack that right on that outer corner. Okay, like so. Yeah, that actually might be dark enough. Okay. And we're gonna pack that there. Okay. And we're gonna clean that up around the edges and go through that crease with Ladyship. And I'm never adding more shadow to this. Like, I'm just working with what's already on the lid because it's really packed on there and concentrated right now. And so this is gonna blend it out and give it that more subtle, soft appearance. And then at the end, I might go in with more Princess, which is that first transition shade, and just kind of very delicately blend that in just above the crease to kind of help with that blend, you know? So now we're going to kind of go in with a little bit of a cut crease. But I don't think I want to actually cut the crease, which involves taking like more of the MAC Pro Longwear and cutting it in on the lid and then laying down the shadow over top. I think what I'm going to do instead is just go in with my fingertips, because with these foiled shadows, that often will get you the pigmentation and the payoff that you need. And I'm actually going to go into Queen Mother right up here. And I'm just going to start patting that on the lid right in the center. And it's okay if it gets like under the eyes a little bit, because I'm not really concerned about that. So that's where we're starting. And then I'm gonna go back in once I've laid down the base, kind of like that. And then I'm gonna intensify it and really like pack and smudge basically, because it helps it foil a little bit better, which gives it that shine. And then once that's done, I'm gonna take my same fluffy brush and go through the crease just to blend that out a little bit. Okay, beautiful. And now I really want to make that that crease pop a little bit more, so I'm going to go in with Royal Highness, okay, which is this like foiled pretty shade right here, this metallic, and I'm going to pop it right in the center of the lid. And then I still have a little bit, so I'm going to kind of use that to blend out the edge so that it's not like a stripe. It gives it that, can I see how it kind of reflects and catches the light right there in the center? That's what I want. There. Perfection. All right, so that's kind of the eyes, the base of the eyes done. And so now I'm going to grab a little wipey, And we're going to use, I usually use about 1 wipey per makeup session. And first I'm going to clean off my fingers a little bit so that I don't end up smearing that color anywhere I don't want it. And then I'm going to clean up the under eyes just a little bit. Okay. All right. And now it's time for foundation. So I'm going to go in with a sponge. So today I'm using, this is it's Thrive Cosmetics. I really like it a lot. It's got this flat side here with the angle. So it gets in really good here. And then the sponge, I mean, honestly, like there's not that much of a difference between sponges. You'll find one that you really like. There's a bunch of different ones. I've got like a whole freaking jar of like different, like there's the actual I've got a couple of actual beauty blenders. I've got this one that's like velvet. I've got a Real Techniques one in there. And they're all fine. The foundation I'm going to use today is my Physicians Formula, the Healthy Foundation. I have other foundations that are expensive or more expensive that I really, really like. I have a Laura Mercier Flawless Fusion. I have a Bobbi Brown Skin Foundation. Both of those are really, really great. I've got a whole drawer full of other things that I've used. This one from Wet n Wild is a great one for on the go. But today we're going to use this one. It's got a little doe foot applicator. This isn't my favorite method. I prefer a pump. I actually have a little palette that I often use for pumping out foundations. But for this one, we're just going to go straight onto the skin. And I usually start out with just my cheeks like that. And then I just go straight in and I start bouncing the sponge on. Let's fast forward through this part because nobody cares. Everybody knows how to do this, right? I like to go in with just a little bit more on the cheeks because my foundation just wears really hard on the cheeks. I don't know why, but it does. And so I go in with just a little more. Then for concealer, I'm going to go in with Makeup Revolution. Okay. Their Conceal and Define. Super cheap, super good. It's what I really like. And I just kind of do just a little bit here. Okay. And this is going to blend. I know it looks like a lot of product, but I blend it out pretty aggressively because I don't want a ton of product. It's just that those damn cheeks. I don't do the triangle, you know, or whatever because it doesn't work for me. I do this like blob right here. And you just got to figure out what works for you. That's the thing. Like, everybody's makeup, like if you watch these videos, they're gonna have like this like makeup routine, and some of them will be like, this is the way you do it so it doesn't look like shit, and then you do it just like that and it looks like shit. So sometimes you just gotta like experiment and figure out what works for you, you know. And then I'll kind of go back over like this. Yeah. And this just helps, like, if you've literally never seen anybody do this, if the first makeup video you're ever watching is mine because you know me for some reason, this helps brighten everything under your eye and gives you just a different level of pigmentation and color. Like, I was watching a video the other day where they kind of explained that the reason why concealers are different than actual foundation is that the level of pigmentation in the actual like concealer is higher, so it can cover those dark circles. So once I've kind of blended the under eye out, I put powder. Now I don't put a ton. I don't feel this foundation is a little bit more of a natural finish and it's light to medium coverage. So if I don't put any foundation or any powder on top, it goes away real fast. Ooh, that is an excessive amount of powder. There we go. Whew. So I'm using my Laura Mercier translucent powder. And what I do is I just put a little in the cap. I go in with my sponge, and then I make a little bit of an alien face. Like, this is kind of baking, but I kind of press the powder in a little bit to help set it, because otherwise that shit moves around on me. And like, I don't want to go too hard with powder because, you know, I'm 35, and when you put a ton of powder under your eye like that, it can accentuate like your fine lines and bullshit like that. But it's kind of like you pick and choose. Like, it may end up looking like crap either way, so you kind of have to decide what is important to you. I'm gonna also go in and do my smile lines, because those motherfuckers like are intense. And I'm gonna kick off this excess powder here in a little bit, but for the time being, that's what we're doing. So now I'm gonna go in with a fluffy brush like this. This one is a Tarte brush that I got like a year ago, and I really like it for powder because it's the softest brush I fucking own. I have a couple others that I really like. This one's really good. Same kind of feel, basically. It's just a soft powder brush. I got this one from Tarte as well, but it's a little bit pokey for some reason. And this one's actually what they like, this is their powder brush that they're currently selling. Don't like it as much. These two are my ride or dies right here. I really, really like them. They're soft and they're perfect for what I want. So I'll go in with the whatever's left in the powder, in the cap for powder, and I'll just kind of dust it along the rest. But I don't want to go, I'm not going super hard. I'm just setting the rest of that foundation, because this particular foundation needs to be set or it will move the fuck around. It's okay that I'm using powder, because I'm going to go in later with a setting spray, and it's going to kind of help relieve that powderiness. Plus I'm going to be putting on bronzer and the whole 9 yards, right? The bronzer I'm going to go in with first is this one, and it is Rosewood by Anastasia Beverly Hills. This blends. I have a couple of bronzers I really like, and if I continue to make these videos, you will see that. But this bronzer honestly blends better than anything else I have ever used, aside from possibly my Hourglass one. Both of those are just stunning. And the color is perfect for me, and they just blend so well. So I've got kind of a fluffier bronzer brush here. This is what I use. This one is the Morphe one. I can't remember what, it's the Jaclyn Hill one, because I bought that collection because those brushes were actually really, really good. Or at least I've really enjoyed them. But it's the JH02, but I think you can buy this outside of her collection. It's just a standard Morphe brush that they carry like the whole thing. And Morphe brushes are typically fairly inexpensive. And like, I won't pretend that they're like the highest quality, but I like them. So I'm gonna go in and I'm just gonna start right here above my ear, so like just above my ear, and then I'm going to kind of go down at an angle to follow my cheekbone. Okay, so I have a rounder face, and you know, it's fluffy, it's got fat on it, right? And so I don't have hollowed out cheekbones, so I kind of create what I want just by kind of tapping along that line from just above my ear to about the corner of my eye. Okay, so that's where I put my bronzer when I first put it on. This method is it's kind of contouring light. I don't contour. That's just not what I like to do. It's just another step that I'm not into. But I do still like the look, the kind of the 3 look with your bronzer, you know? And then I'm just kind of blending that along the jawline or along the perimeter of the face. And then I'll work it into the forehead up in the corner right here. Do you see what I mean by how like good that blends? It's just fucking gorgeous. And you could go in with a much lighter hand if you didn't like this much bronze. I do. But when I first started doing makeup in a more like, I'm gonna do my makeup way, I did not like a super dark bronzer because I wasn't used to seeing it on my face. And like a lot of this stuff of like people being like, oh, that doesn't look good on me, I don't like that, is more about like that they're not used to seeing that on their face, you know? Especially when you're going, like as you're doing it, it's like you look like, even right now, like it's just now starting to come together in a way that's like looks sort of normal, but it's not quite there yet, right? Next, I'm gonna actually go back in with this same like thin brush, and I'm not gonna add anything to it. I'm just gonna go under my eyes. Just smoke it out just a little bit, you know? Add that little bit of definition there. And I'm gonna go in with mascara at the very end. That's usually my very, very last step, aside from lipstick, because I use setting spray and I don't like the setting spray to get on the mascara. Okay, now I'm gonna take my Hourglass, and this is their ambient lighting powder or ambient lighting palette. And what I do with that is I take my same fluffy brush that I use with powder, and I go in and I like literally just swirl it all together like this. And then I will kick off extra powder that's on my face, in the center of my face here. And then I'll kind of bring it up along the jawline right here. And it just adds this like glow to the skin that cuts out some of that extra powder that that might still be hanging out. Do you see what I mean? I just like pinch the shit out of my finger in that thing. All right, now I'm gonna go in with blush. So I'm going to grab my favorite blush brush, which is actually another Morphe brush. It's the Morphe E4, and it's just this like beautiful angled brush. Do you see? And if you can find one, like I bought other angled brushes. Like I have my blush brush from Urban Decay, and it's nice, like it's okay, but it's a little small, and I have very large cheeks, so this might be good for somebody who has a smaller face than me, right? And I bought the angled blush brush from Sephora to see if that one would do the trick, but it's not quite, it doesn't have quite the fluff. It's it's just a little different. Do you see? Yeah. This one is a good one. I actually really like this. This was my ride or die before I found that other one, and it's a Luxie blush brush 514, and it's a more of a rounded one, and it like did the blush really, really well. But for whatever reason, this one just performs fucking phenomenally. Now I've got like a kind of a cranberry warmish situation happening. So I think I'm gonna go in with Mood Exposure from Hourglass. The Hourglass blushes are my absolute ride or die favorite blushes. My old favorite brushes used to be the Tarte ones, the Amazonian Clay, which are still really good, but these ones are just, I can't get over it. Like I have pretty large pores in my cheeks, and these ones don't accentuate it hardly at all. I just love them. And you don't have to, I only own one that is like one of the big ones that costs like $40. And that one is the, Dim Infusion, which is kind of this like peachy, beautiful peachy color. The rest of them, I've gotten the smaller ones, which I think are like $22. And they're fine. Like they get the job done. I haven't run out of product on them, and they work the same. So I just get the smaller ones because I really, really, really love blush. And so I have way too many blush. I have way too many of all of my makeup, but I have way too many blushes. And so it just doesn't make sense for me to buy like a giant full-sized one. So I'm going to go in with this, and I'm going to smile, and I'm going to go in, and I usually start by stamping and just bringing it back to kind of blend in with my bronzer. And this is such a like beautiful, subtle color. I love it so much. And like I said, I go hard on my blush. Like other people don't, but I love blush. Make me look like a crazy clown, guys. I'm here for it. I get, for me, like what I feel is perfect blush application every time. And I'm not sponsored because I've never made a video before. It is all she wrote for that situation. Now I'm going to go in with highlighter, and I have a lot of highlight as well, but the one that I'm going to use today is actually a drugstore one, and it's the Master Chrome in Molten Rose Gold from Maybelline. This one is legit. And I'm going to go in with I'm going to actually use one of my Sephora highlighting brush, which is their Pro Highlight Illuminator 98. And it's got this like flat situation, and then it fans out a little bit. I do own one of those classic like fan brushes for highlighting, but I just don't like it. My favorites are this one, my Anastasia Beverly Hills one, which is also fucking legit. And then I have a ton of those little ones that are like this, that are kind of fluffier, but a little bit like narrow, you know, because it like allows you to have, it kind of depends on how intense you want your highlight to be, but I fucking want to glow, like fuck off. So, I'm just gonna run it across the side like this, tap it off, and go in. Oh, it's so pretty. So one time I got a makeover at Sephora, just, I think it was around my birthday this year, because I just kind of wanted to do that, wanted to treat myself. So I went and did that, because sometimes it's just nice to have someone else do your makeup for you. That's why I love doing other people's makeup for them, because it's just so nice, right? It's so like relaxing, and somebody else makes you look beautiful, and you just kind of get to like relax and sit back. I know some people like hate for other people to touch their face, but like my mom's like that. She can't stand for people to touch her face, but I like it. Anyway, they did my highlight. When they went to do my highlight, they did what I just did, where I went across the cheekbone, but then I went up here and like blended it into my eyeshadow just at the brow bone, and then like here and then back down, you know, which is like this, like, you know, C situation. And I was like, oh, that's so great. And she's like, yeah, you know, she was inspired by how Rihanna had wore her makeup. And then later I was watching Rihanna's makeup artist do Nikki Tutorial's makeup, and she talked about doing that, and then everybody on YouTube started doing it, and I was like, I was doing it first. As you can see, I put on so much. And then I kind of go into the center and just make sure that it's not too much. I mean, it's too much. Let's be real. It is definitely too much, because I will go to work like this. I went to work like this when I used to wear scrubs to work every day, and my makeup would be like this, and I'd be like, what's up? I'm here to work, y'all. Like Amber, my best friend once told me that my adjective in all ways is extra. In all ways. She was like, girl, you are extra in every way someone can be extra. And I was like, thank you. I love to be seen and understood. And then I'm just going to go in with that same highlight right here in the inner corner, just to kind of add a little extra pop. And now let's do our eyebrows. I'm gonna go in with Foolproof Brow Powder from Benefit in shade number 5 because I like dark dramatic eyebrows. And I'm just gonna I have their brow brush, which I used to not think that like it really mattered, but I really like this spoolie. Fucking, I always like thought people were full of shit when they were like, oh, it makes a difference what kind of spoolie you have. And I was like, girl, you've lost your damn mind. It's a fucking spoolie. They all work the goddamn same, right? And they do. I mean, they do all fucking work the same. And you could get the job done regardless of what fucking spoolie you're using. But I like this one. It's the Benefit one. So I'm just gonna go in and please don't clock me for my goddamn eyebrows. Like, me and my brows don't get along. They're two completely different shapes. And so I have learned to do my brows in a way that makes me not look completely insane, but they are not perfect brows, okay? So don't come at me, okay? Don't come at me for my goddamn brows. This one's my favorite though, and it knows it. It behaves. This one is a fucking bastard. Also, my eyebrows grow so fucking short. Like, your eyebrows should like go from here, like they should end right there, and mine don't. Mine end like right up here, so I have to like fucking extend that shit out. Now you're about to see how the other one fucking misbehaves like a motherfucker. Also, some people will tell you you're supposed to do your brows first so you can clean them up with concealer, but I don't have time for that. When I was a kid, I fucking shaved my eyebrows off. I was like, I think I was like 12 or something, and it was during the summertime too. And I don't know why I did it. I was just like, fuck these bitches, and I just shaved them off, and my mom was like, what the fuck did you just do to yourself? And then I got a sunburn where my eyebrows should have been. Oh god. So clearly me and my brows have a long history. I think they're like still low-key mad at me from like when I did that. And then I'm just going to go in with a little bit of a brow gel just to kind of clean them up a little bit. Give them some dimension. And hope that they like stay where I want them to be, you know? So that's kind of the look. I'm going to put on mascara and lipstick next. And but first we are going to do setting spray. I always use Urban Decay All Nighter because it is literally the only setting spray I've ever used that seems like it actually does something. So yes, y'all, I am this extra. I fucking told you. And now we're gonna do our eyelashes. All right. I'm gonna be real honest with you. I'm not sure that this is the best eyelash curler in the entire world, but it was really cute and it had pineapples on it, and so I bought it. And I used to like not even bother to curl my lashes because they all fucking curl in a weird way anyway. But I was like, this will make me do it because it's cute. And then I'm gonna go in with a mascara that is actually like, okay, I love the way this makes my lashes look, but it crumbles throughout the day. And I'll see little black specks all over the goddamn place. And so don't buy it. But I like the way it makes my lashes look, so I'm gonna do it. Okay. I have a little Wonder Woman compact mirror, and I use this for putting on my mascara. I like to look down when I do it because it makes sure that it helps make sure that I don't get mascara literally everywhere. Do y'all see what I mean about this mascara though? Like, it just makes my lashes look fucking huge. Like, and I have decent lashes. Like, I can't complain about my lashes, I'll be real honest. The worst thing about them is how much they curl, and that's not a terrible thing for your lashes to be doing, you know? Do you see that? Do you see the difference there? Also, I barely touch my lower lashes because I don't need that shit everywhere. Also, if you get mascara on your lid like I just did, don't fucking touch it. Just let it dry and deal with it later. I'll show you how. Nice. This is like one of my essential tools that I keep on my thing. It's this like little stack of mini Post-its. And I take one and I curl it like this so that I get this like little loop, and then I go in. And I get that mascara off. There we go. And then you can always take your brush and kind of go back and stamp over where you kind of fucked up. See? Perfect. I think I'm going to go in with my Stila Nudo Shimmer with this look. I think that'll look best. Usually I try to remember to put chapstick on right after I do my foundation so that it has time to sit and soak in. But if I forget, I'll do this so that I kind of just moisturize it a little bit and then wipe off the extra with my fingers. What do I think? Yeah. And there we go. There is the look. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. It took me about an hour to do my makeup, but I was talking to y'all the whole time, and so that kind of contributes to it a little bit. I can usually, if I'm going to do this kind of full glam situation, it takes me about half hour to 45 minutes to do it typically, depending on if I fuck up or, you know, if I'm just kind of taking my time with the situation. So that's pretty much it. Of course, I'm not doing anything special for my Sunday today. I'm just gonna hang out here, talk to my friends on the internets, and then wash my face off. Thanks for hanging out with me. I will see y'all in the next video. Maybe if I do it, we'll see how it goes.